One thing I want to talk about is, in simple words, can you summarize your book, AI Unlocked? Many people, they all hear about AI, artificial intelligence, but most people don't know what it is, the capabilities, right? So maybe if you're able to break it down from that whole complicated system into some layman's word for everybody to understand.
Sure. So artificial intelligence is a field whereby we are trying to get computers or machines to try to reason like a human being. So think about this. If I take a little child and I tell a little child, this is a pen. Tomorrow, the little child comes to me, I say, this is a book. The next day, the little child comes to me, I said, this is a bottle of water.
Yes.
And I repeat that over time. So all these things that I mentioned, we call it data. So I'm using these things to train this little child to know what these things are. The next time the child comes, I'll say, what is this? The child says, a pen. I say, good job. I give the child a candy. What is this? A bottle of water. Good job. I give the child candy. What is this? A book. Good. Excellent. I give the child candy. When the child comes the next time, the child is going to say, oh, daddy, look, that is a book. That is a pen. That is a bottle of water. So that is how we teach computers to think like the human. So inside the computer has data, which are all these different components that we expose, we give huge amounts of data to the computer, and we tell the computer, this is called this is that. As the computer evolves, it can now make connections whereby it can say, I can open a book and write in the book. So some of these things are things that we train just like a child. You teach a child, this is called a book, this is called a pen, and then it will get to a point where the child can make sentences. Hi, I can read a book. I can write with a pen. I can drink water. So that is how the artificial intelligence discipline has evolved, where we start from the data. We train the machine or the computer on the data so that the machine can identify objects and make connections between objects. And now it can deduce, make insights. So which means now the computer can look at an object and say, this is a pen, I can write using a pen. This is a book, I can read a book, and so on. So fast forward, when you think about what AI is doing nowadays, I think many people have used maybe ChatGPT, one of these AI models. So ChatGPT, you can go to ChatGPT and say, give me a list of popular songs. So that is a very vague but very short and simple command that you give, or we call it prompts, right? You prompt AI and you tell AI, give me a list of songs that are popular. AI will go and dig through its databases, go to even the internet or wherever that it has to go to grab the data. Within a very short time, it tells you that this is the list of the most popular song. How does it do that? You may think it's magic, but for it to understand or know these things, it has to learn them. So somebody has to teach them. Now that we're talking about this, there's something I talked in the book. One of the chapters talk about bias. Think about this. I can go to the computer, go to ChatGPT or one of these models, and I say, tell me about elections in Cameroon. And it will go gather the information and it will tell me. I say, now I want to talk in my local dialect. And I say something in my local dialect. Guess what?
It will not understand.
I say something in Pidgin English. It will not understand. But if I can give this book to AI and I say, translate this into French, bam, it will do it. Translate this into Spanish, it will do it. But translate this into Pidgin English or into some African dialect, it will not do it. So that is why I talk about bias. When we train some of these models, there's nobody who can teach or train these machines about my dialect. There's nobody who can train these machines about Pidgin English, about the local food that we eat, about our culture and our background. So that is the bias that I'm talking about. So nowadays, Africans are at it. Why? Because there's this big thing that is happening, and we are not 100% on board because our data is not there. It's not available. I know that some countries in Africa might be doing a few things with language translation and things like that, but we're not there yet. So that's one key area where we as Africans, we need to get on board. We need to ask ourselves these questions. Yeah. If I ask ChatGPT maybe about malaria or some of these common diseases that we have or ailments that we have back in Africa, it may not give me the right answer. Why? Because it was never trained based on our local problems. So I'm calling on all the Africans out there, on everyone that loves Africa, whether you are from Europe or America or any other continent. I'm calling on you all to come, let's work together to resolve this problem because they are the world's problems. We have Americans that travel to Africa, Africans travel to America, and so on. So the world becomes a global village. So if we don't solve the global problem, you see, we've done the problem only halfway. If we take AI, when we're advancing with AI only thinking about the West and forgetting about the rest of the world, we have not solved the right problem. We have solved a problem partially. So I'm calling on anyone who has the interest to bring AI to the next level. Let's have these discussions more often. Let's talk about some of these problems. Let's figure out how we can have a complete solution so that everybody in the world will be advantaged to learn and use AI.